you're dating men in 2024, you don't just have to ask them if they're single. You have to ask them, are you single but in a situationship? Are you single but you're still talking to your ex? Or you're still sleeping with your ex? Or you're staying at her place? You're sleeping on her couch? Or, oh, are you single but you're married? Are you single but you're engaged? Are you single but you have a friends with benefits situation going with your girl best friend? Or the girl from college who you told that you don't want a relationship, but of course you're still sleeping with her? Are you single but you're in an open relationship? So what kind of single are you? Because I would prefer if you're single.
That just raises further questions.
I think you're missing a few there, but don't worry. Old Locke is feeling generous and is more than happy to help you out. So here we go. Are you single but still talking to your ex on social media in hopes that he breaks up with the woman he left you for so you can dump me the second he becomes available? Or what about, are you single but still expect to be treated like a wife? Are you single but can still pay the check? And here's a good one. Are you single but still taking antibiotics from your last series of blundered trysts? Or what about, are you single and mentally unstable? Or how about, are you single but still posting your ex's dirty laundry on social media? Are you single and on parole for slashing your bestie's tires? Are you single but still down with OPP? Are you single and broke? Or are you single and constantly whining that you're single even though you have zero excuse to be? Or how about, are you single and consider that to be your dominant personality trait? There's also, are you single but identify as divorced? But if we really want to cut to the chase, there's only one question that really matters. You're single. Can I go now?
Answer the question.
I think guys really need to understand that when you're dealing with like a girl that's like takes care of herself and is semi-attractive, there's a fucking line waiting and preying on your downfall. They're praying for you to fumble. So when you guys come back, like after breaking up, like being like, oh, I'm finally ready, like to give you what you want. Yeah. Get to the back of the line, brother. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly have no idea what to tell you. But I feel like you guys like think that you guys are the world. Like you bag a baddie and you're like, I can get any bitch I want. So can she.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty.
Oh dear, I would not be bragging about that if I were you. By openly telling the world that you have a line of men out there who are willing to, date you, you're just telling the world that you have a whole slew of men that are just waiting to, okay, with the way things are right now, I have to figure out a way to say this without taking off the algorithm because I'm fairly certain that the banning of shadows has hit me like a mother. So, let's just say that you're bragging about a bunch of men who are really big fans of, shall we say, the choo-choo, and they're just waiting for their turn to board your caboose. And if that man is texting, he's merely asking you if it's cool if he cuts in line, because even if you say no, he'll just head over to another station. He does have that option, and you really don't. But even if what I said wasn't even the slightest bit true, and let's go ahead and reinterpret the metaphor of the line then. Those dudes who are waiting in line are a lot like the people who are at a party with only one toilet. The longer the line, the more likely the toilet's going to be filled with something unsanitary and downright disgusting. And yes, in this case, I am using the toilet as a metaphor for your slimy hell port of perverted damnation. Seems like a pretty apt metaphor if you ask me.
That's funny because it's so true.
No, what makes me emotional about being single is not the being single, like whatever. It is on a day like today. I just need a hug, like so desperately. And I have nowhere to get one of those.
Perchance some poetry before a fortnight.
A poem for the woman who pathetically blusters. There is nary an action that I can bring myself to muster. You bitch about needing a hug, and for that you deserve not even a shrug. Why should I care about your lack of an embrace when it's clear you're fishing for pity, which is truly the case? You act like your life is so hard and being single is unfair. Well, I have news for you with which I'd like to share. Men couldn't care less for your troubles, as the strife of a lonely man is clearly double. We'll go years, if not decades, to feel without, but even then, we still do not shout. We move on like the adults we're expected to be, and twice as cultured and mature as we can plainly see. And even if the earth were to end and 'twas only us who remained, avoid you I would like a white shirt with a mustard stain. And to be honest, you wouldn't hug me if your life depended on it, so why would I bother wasting my time hugging shit?
Hi, we have to take a moment for some shameless self-promotion.
This poem was brought to you by Patreon and the Bounty Board. If you wish to support the channel with a price you can afford, for $5, a credit permanently shall be in your name, with shoutouts and exclusive content for you to claim. You may also show your support with a like and a subscribe, with free comedy with which for you to imbibe. Thank you for watching, and be sure to ring the notification bell, for YouTube's interference from the shadows has truly made this life a living hell. So watch, share, and leave comments, and join in the fight. Let us tell the algorithm to piss off into this good night.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I did not expect for all of you guys to agree with me in my recent video about how hard it is to date. I was actually hoping for some advice, but apparently all of us are on the same boat, and there's just no men out here to date. And that just leads me to the question of why. I know I'm picky as hell. Every one of my friends say how picky I am and how it's just it's gonna get me nowhere, and I get it, but I also know what I bring to the table, so I'm just you gotta be picky because I don't want to settle, and it's been this long, why would I settle?
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
Well, to answer your question, regardless of how you feel, you're not going to settle, but that's because there isn't a man out there who will allow you to settle. It's kind of funny how you think you can openly disrespect these men and assume that they'll just turn around and accept your immature behavior just because you're lonely. Even if you wanted to settle, it's far too late for you. Your high and mighty attitude has left you with such delusions that the amount of pain you'd cause a man would make watching the 8th season of Game of Thrones consecutively for a 12-day period with nothing but cabbage and regret to eat is like a vacation in comparison. You're not worth the time or the effort because we already know you have a terrible attitude and will disrespect any man that you deem worthy of what you bring to the table, which is odd considering you bring absolutely nothing to that table. Or wait, let me rephrase that. You do bring stuff to the table, but it's nothing a man wants. You bring trust issues, entitlements, expectations, and men have been telling this to you for years, but you just won't listen. I guess we can add that little lack of talent to the table as well. I mean, why not at this point? The terrible qualities you bring to the table are like Jell-O. There's always room for more.
But what is it about these men out here that's causing all of us in the comment section to realize that we're all single? Doesn't that seem a little strange to everybody that there was so many people that were commenting that they were just single too, and they have been for many years, and it shouldn't be this hard, right? Where are the good men? Also, the people in the comment section, men, that are giving us advice on why we're single because, and then it leads into something really rude and just judgmental. You're the people we don't want to date.
All right.
Well, the feeling's mutual. You're constantly insulting the majority of men out there for no other reason outside of the idea that you can get away with such childish behavior because society or something. But that's not how any of this works. All you've done is make all of the good men turn around to go hang out over at Skeeter's house. We were helping to rake the leaves from his backyard so we could clear out enough space to help him get the ice rink set up for winter. Well, let's just say the job took us a little bit longer than we anticipated because we got the bright idea to have a Nerf blaster fight and we're diving headfirst into the leaf piles while shooting akimbo. It may have taken us twice as long to get everything cleaned up, but we're men. We know how to have fun, and we don't need to waste our time sitting in our cars and complaining about how all the good women are missing. We have too much dignity to stoop that low, and don't worry, lady, we won't give you any advice. Winter's just around the corner, and we're thinking about starting up a beer curling league. We have no idea why, but just watching this stuff is more peaceful than a Bob Ross painting. Plus, it gives us an excuse to play with rocks and brooms, and that's a bonus that's just too big to pass up.
Hell yeah!
Am I the asshole for having high expectations for my bachelorette party? I, 25 female, am getting married to my wonderful fiance, 31 male, this fall. A week ago, I had a bachelorette party. While most girls dream of their weddings, I dreamt about my bachelorette weekend.
What?
I put a lot of planning into this weekend, made a lot of phone calls, reservations, everything basically. For Thursday night through Sunday morning, me and 25 of my closest girlfriends rented a house. From the start, it was a disaster. I told my girls to get to the house early on Thursday so they could decorate and set up before I got there. Well, I got to the house at 3 and they weren't done decorating, so that bummed me out because I wanted that wow moment when I came in and saw the setup. I felt robbed, but we still had a decent first night.
Personally, I don't think we need to hear any more, gentlemen and gents. I believe the answer is a resounding yes. You are indeed the bunghole, and only for the reason that you had an obsession over a bachelorette party. Now, these things are already a red flag within themselves most of the time. When you've got a bunch of women together and feed them alcohol and remind the bride that she's only going to be boning one dude for the rest of her life, it doesn't take long for the male strippers to arrive and for the disrespect of her future husband to commence. Especially when you get 25 of them stuck in a house together. Now, with that being said, it really doesn't help your case that you're obsessed with the insane amount of details you're going for with this bachelorette party. You're effectively planning your own surprise birthday and getting butthurt when the general consensus is your idea is stupid. You're more obsessed with how you're supposed to be feeling instead of just having some above-the-waistline fun with your friends. And if this is how you feel about your stupid bachelorette party, then I feel sorry for the groom who's going to have to deal with you at your wedding. So far, I'm giving her a solid year before she files for divorce.
Friday, I woke everyone up at 7 a.m. to make breakfast and get ready because we had a packed day. Vineyards, boat, lunch, happy hour drinks, then dinner and the clubs. I was getting shaded on all afternoon because people said they were being rushed from place to place and had to carry changes of clothes all day. But we only had a limited time in the city and I wanted to make the most of it. Saturday was worse. We had brunch at 9 a.m. and no one was awake in time, so it only ended up being me and a few loyal bridesmaids. We went shopping after for a few hours, and when we got back to the house, no one was even apologetic, even though I was close to tears all day.
Hold the phone. We're talking about a bachelorette party here, and if there's one thing we know about these, it's that the ladies are going to try to drink so much alcohol that it would make an 8th-year frat boy quit the sauce. You've made a perfect recipe for massive hangovers for the entire weekend, and then you're upset when these hungover women are somehow unapologetic to you in your insanely tight schedule? You do realize how difficult it is to get an apology from another woman when she's sober as the Pope and twice as coherent, right? You'd have a better chance of getting a confession out of OJ back when he was still upright than getting a modern woman to apologize for anything. And that goes triple for a wedding party because most of these women are most likely single and resent you for getting married while they're still waiting for a guy to have a stroke and see her as marriage material. You're not only the bunghole, but you're reaching Eric Stoltz levels of bungholiness, and no, that's not a compliment, but it's still kind of impressive.
The last straw for me was later that night when we were going to dinner and nobody was wearing the matching shirts we got for the weekend. People wanted to wear their own stuff, but that's not what we agreed on, even though my maid of honor notified everyone. At that point, I said, fuck it. This weekend was ruined, and I locked myself in my room to cry. It was even worse when I came out a few hours later, and half the girls had gone out anyways, without me, aka the actual bride. I ended up driving home early on Sunday and left the house a mess for the girls to pick up because I was so upset. Now it's been almost a week. No one has really texted me except some bridesmaids and maid of honor. I know I sound bridezilla-ish, but these are supposed to be my friends and we were supposed to celebrate me all weekend, and I felt neglected and I'm just really upset. I understand these expectations may seem like a lot, but I made my expectations clear to the group and they just let me down so bad. Tell me, am I the asshole?
I said it before. Short answer, yes. Long answer, it was dumb of you to think that you had the power to control 25 emotionally unhinged, hormone-imbalanced, alcohol-fueled women to do your bidding when it's a bachelorette party. Those women were not there to celebrate you. They were there to get away from their spouses and kids, party it up, and hope they didn't catch a case of hepatitis herpes from the club bathroom. You're just an excuse. You don't believe me? Well, just look at everybody who left. You were bumming them out, so they left to go have some fun without you, thus proving that your ego and selfish nature are going to be your downfall. It would have been one thing if you had a few things planned, but you micromanaged everything down to the microsecond and then got butthurt when nobody wanted to do what you wanted to do. Sorry, but nobody's going to give you pity when a wedding party of that size is already begging their higher power to see your marriage fail. And from what I've heard, I only have one question. Should we serve the divorce papers now or serve them later? And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then go ahead and scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Special shout out to the Bounty Board. Thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in joining up, the link to the Patreon is in the pinned comment down below. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.